making my kids wait to open their Christmas gifts.
The background: I have 3 kids, 2 are in high school and 1 is 12. The 12-year-old got really sick on the 23rd. The eve of Christmas Eve. 103.8 fever, aches, tummy hurt. He just felt lousy. I put him to bed and he stayed there all day on the 24th. By that night, he still was very sick. Normally we open family presents on Christmas Eve, but we decided to wait. My 12-year-old is at that age where I don't think he believes, but he wants to, so after I put him to bed, Santa came and we all crossed our fingers there would be a Christmas miracle and he would feel better. By Christmas morning, when we normally open Santa presents, he really tried to get up. He took a shower, said he was well enough to go down and see what Santa brought, but took one look at the presents, turned right around and went back upstairs and crawled into bed. I said we would wait to open gifts until he was better, but one of my teens had an attitude about it all day, and tonight my husband said he felt bad that we made the kids wait to open their gifts. Now I'm second-guessing everything. I thought it would be cruel to let the kids open their gifts while their little brother was sick upstairs, but tonight my husband said we should have let them open their gifts and he has me feeling like an asshole. I suppose I could have picked out a couple of gifts for them to open, but I have no idea which gifts are which. Santa wraps everything in red paper and many of the packages look similar. Even though they have the kids' names on them, I have no idea which gifts are which, so it's hard to pick out a couple. I didn't want one kid to open a pair of socks and another kid to open their big gift. Tonight, my 12-year-old seems to be improving a bit, his fever now around 102, but he stayed in bed sleeping all day, and I'm just really hoping he's much better tomorrow. Not only does he feel lousy, he feels like he ruined Christmas, which I keep telling him not to worry about. So, basically I didn't think I was asking too much for making the kids wait. It's not like I'll make them wait for days and days, but my husband now thinks that making them wait was wrong. Maybe it was. Maybe I am in a hole for making my older kids wait to open their Christmas presents until their little brother felt well enough to join them. So I really want to know. Comment 1. Why does everyone have to open the gifts at the same time? The sick one should be resting until he is better. The others can open their gifts and the sick one can do it when he is better. Why do they all have to do it at the same time? Are you saying that none of the gifts have names on them? Santa wraps them? That does not make sense. When everyone is together, how do they know who gets what? Why doesn't Santa put their names on the gifts? And did you check with a doctor about that extremely high fever? And you mean to say that you have a 12-year-old who is uncertain about Santa Claus? That is, he is only just doubting the existence now? Most kids know by 7 or 8 about Santa. Comment 2. YTA. Unsure what would be cruel about having the older kids open their presents? They aren't opening the 12-year-old's presents. You could have offered to the 12-year-old to open presents or not, but it doesn't need to affect the older kids. Comment 3. I struggle with this, but soft YTA. I understand not wanting your son to miss out on the Christmas magic, but this was also a moment where you could gently teach him that the world keeps turning even when you're ill and sometimes you miss out on moments. His presents from Santa had arrived and he had confirmed it, so I really don't think there was a reason to keep the older ones from opening their presents and spoiling their bit of fun. His gifts would wait for him. There's also no telling when he will get better. You're betting on an unknown. He could end up being super sick for a week or more, though I hope not. Will you make them wait until New Year's Day to open their Christmas gifts?
Not liking the gifts my BF got me.
I, 21F, received gifts from my boyfriend, 24M, today as my Christmas present. I kinda knew from the start before I even opened them, that I wouldn't like them. I just had that feeling. Turns out that feeling was right. He got me 2 gifts. One gift was a giant life-size cutout of Hatsune Miku and the other was a makeup palette. The first gift just kinda blew my mind. I've never once hinted that this would be something I'm interested in, nor have I ever directly mentioned / said anything about liking the character. This gift was based off a poster I had in my old apartment that my ex left when he moved out. He was the fan of the character and I was just left with a poster I had bought for him. When we left my parents, I told him that I wasn't very fond of it because I think cutouts are creepy and I didn't want to set up and get scared by it randomly in the middle of the night. He kinda got upset by this even though I did thank him for it. The second gift was alright, but when it comes to makeup, I'm very picky about the stuff I use. I'm into more pinks and bright colors than the more toned-down colors that the palette had. This was also another thing I didn't specifically mention I wanted. I didn't say anything about not liking it and just thanked him. It feels like he assumed I would enjoy this stuff when I don't. I don't wear makeup often and I'm not fond or random things that could freak me out by just being in the corner all freaky like. I texted my friend to ask her opinion on this and he caught a glimpse of my telling her about the presents and how I didn't like them. He told me he's upset I went tea to her instead of telling him, but I already felt bad for telling him that I didn't really like the first thing, so saying I didn't the second one just seemed like a D move and I was just gonna keep it to myself. Now he's just giving me the silent treatment even after I explained that I felt shitty telling him I didn't like the things he bought me. I know I should be grateful, but I went to lengths for his gift and it feels like he didn't listen to anything I've been saying I've wanted in the 3 months I've been talking about random stuff I would like. Comment 1. Am I going insane? Who gets someone a life-size cutout of a character they saw on a poster once? Why are the comments acting like this is normal? I don't think you did anything wrong. He would expect the cutout to be put up in your house, but telling him you didn't like it was the right move. And there's nothing wrong with telling your friend about the makeup. It's not like you were complaining to him about the eyeshadow palette. Plus you told him things you would actually like. I really don't see what you would even be apologizing for. Talking to your friend. I think you handled this fine, and while it's not the end of the world that your BF of 3 months got you a bad Christmas present, I think he needs to learn to listen to what you say. NTA. Comment 2. NTA. The cutout is insane. Even if you love Hatsune Miku, this is the type of gift you don't give after 3 months. The palette is obvious, makeup is so personal. You are totally in your right to not like it. I do not believe you haven't talked about anything else these past 3 months that he could have gotten hints from, or that you would not have given him some suggestions if he asked for it. Also, you were so okay in dealing with your emotions yourself first by talking about it with a friend. This dude really made a lot of assumptions. Homeboy shot for the loop, with a bowling ball, might I add, missed and now has to deal with the consequences. Comment 3. Unless it's a well-established inside joke or preference, I would not get someone a life-size cutout as a gift. Haha, seems so impractical.
Not paying my sister for the labor I made her do at Christmas.
My husband, 36, and I, 38F, hosted Christmas this year. My 20 living close family members, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, have stayed with us from the 18th and will continue to until tomorrow. A further 8 people joined us yesterday for Christmas dinner and a Christmas party. My older brother, 40M, and his husband, 53M, usually help me with the Christmas dinner, and they did this year as well, but there were a few more guests than usual and we needed more hands on deck, so I asked my younger sister, 30F, to help. She agreed, if reluctantly, once she saw how much needed to be done, and got to work. She muttered when she started that I had better pay her back for this, to which I laughed because I thought it was a joke. There is a very high chance that I misinterpreted this because I do have autism and recognizing sarcasm is not one of my strong points. But she didn't object, so I took my interpretation as the correct one. I was and am incredibly grateful for her help and thanked her for it many times. Once the cooking was done and the food was served in our dining room, I made sure to mention the contribution that everyone had put into the meal, by name, as I do every year. My sister then, this morning just before she was about to leave, everything packed up in her car, saying goodbyes to everyone, asked me how much I was going to pay her. I asked her what she meant, and she said that she had agreed to do it with the idea that she would be paid for it, and she wasn't my slave. I said I wasn't going to pay her because it was a favor. Also, I've done a lot for her during her time here, so if anything, it was her paying me back. She just glared at me and asked again for her money, and I said I don't have anything for her. She didn't ask again and left after telling me I was being pissy with her for no reason. We're normally on very good terms, so this was surprising. I don't remember us ever arguing before now, so I think I either did something very wrong or she was in a bad mood because she was hungover and I only did something slightly wrong. Edit. People do help out in other ways, which is why I went to my sister because she was the only one who wasn't busy. Comment 1. NTA. Damn, that's hosting a lot of people. I think it's perfectly normal to expect people to be willing to help out here and there when they are a guest at a family dinner, celebration. Or even if just a guest at one. You were hosting the dinner for free, and I assume everyone who stayed with you from the 18th on, was your sister included in this, was staying for free, all meals included and everything. That said, if your sister truly hates helping that much, perhaps amongst your large group there are one or two others who may have been better about pitching in without complaint and in thanks for all the hard work you've done as a host. Comment 2. So did she pay for the room she slept in? The water and electricity she used? Did she contribute financially to the food and drinks she had during her stay? NTA. I don't even get how you have to ask people to help out. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but I always ask the hosts if there's anything I can do to help with the cooking, and I'm always helping with the cleanup. That's basic for me. Comment 3. NTA. Your sister definitely should have communicated that she expects to be reimbursed for her contribution beforehand, so that you can find someone else. That being said, since you were already hosting a ton of people, I would really expect your sister and everyone else to help with some chores, even if it's just plain dishwashing. So yeah, kudos to your brother and Bill and shame on everyone else.
Expecting my 25F, BF, 29M, to keep paying rent until our lease ends despite kind of moving out?
My BF suddenly broke up with me 2 weeks ago after we found out I was pregnant but miscarried and took some of his belongings. We are in couples therapy and now back together, but he wants his name off the lease and doesn't want to move back yet. I explained that is not how leases work and we'd just be forfeiting the deposit by moving out early as I can't get approved on my own for this place. He thinks I should stay, and says he may come back after he works on himself, but the apartment is too big and expensive for just me and was supposed to be where we started a family and got married. Due to having to pay for the miscarriage procedure out of pocket, he didn't pay any portion, and Christmas presents, I can't handle all the rent on my own. He agreed to pay the majority for the next 2 months, but his mom, 57F, is saying it's not fair because he doesn't live here anymore and instead thinks he should just tell the landlord he's moving out and disregard me. All his furniture and belongings are here and he hasn't gotten a new place and he stays over 2 nights a week. She also discouraged therapy for us. I suspect she is a big reason for him ending things, as it was really out of the blue and not like him to leave when things get tough, and also doesn't really seem like what he really wants. It's strange to me because they both really liked me and called me part of the family, and I'm not sure how a miscarriage could trigger such emotions as opposed to empathy/support for me. I'm guessing his mom never liked me but pretended to for some reason, and the thought of us being stuck together by a child freaked her out, so when I had a miscarriage she decided to reveal how she really felt to him. They are very close and he has a lot of childhood trauma from her always yelling at him and making him do whatever she says. She blocked me, so I am not able to ask her what is going on. We previously had a great relationship and talked weekly. All his clothes and furniture are still here and he has no plans of taking it out, so I have no clue what is actually happening between us. I don't plan on renewing the lease, but I'd like our deposit back as it's $4,000. In my opinion, it is not fair for him to just up and leave during this difficult time and should definitely pay part of the rent until I can find a roommate/find a roommate to replace him. Is that wrong? Comment 1. NTA. This guy is a piece of work. He can't just decide to stop paying rent because he feels like it if he signed a lease. He's legally responsible. Plus, it's pretty crappy to the person who you were living with to put them in a tough spot. Honestly, this guy is almost 30, he bails on you when you are pregnant, bails when you go through a serious medical condition, fails to understand legally binding financial responsibility, and then gets his mom to try and talk you into taking this onto yourself? You can do better. Comment 2. NTA and I'd make him an ex-boyfriend. You were going to have a child together and had a miscarriage and he broke up with you and moved out. Now he's also wanting off the lease even though he's still spending nights there. This is not a person who wants to build a future with you. I am sorry for your loss, and it also showed you exactly who he is. He would risk you being homeless or kicked out just to save himself some money. It doesn't show any care for someone he supposedly loves.
Not giving my mother her Christmas present early?
In my family, my mother F60 is notoriously the hardest person to shop for when it comes to Christmas presents. She rarely wants anything, and when she does want something, it's either impossible for me, an unemployed 17-year-old, to get, or she already plans to buy it for herself a few days after she mentioned it. This year, I managed to get out of her that she wanted 3 specific pairs of earrings for the 3 piercings she has on each ear, small hoops, slightly larger hoops, and some nice pretty dangly ones, all sliver. She doesn't order jewelry online, and the specific sizes she was looking for are pretty hard to find in the usual places she shops, so she couldn't just get them herself, for a while at least. So I looked around, found and bought all 3 pairs in November. Fast forward to 5 days before Christmas, she has an event that she wants to go to and mentions that it would be nice if she had those earrings. She wanted to go to the function. She talked about how they would be just perfect with her outfit for the event. I briefly considered giving them to her then for an early Christmas, but we always save the presents for the big day, so I didn't. On Christmas Day, she opened the gift and loved it. She made a big deal of taking off the earrings she was wearing and putting them on for everyone to see. She was really happy about them. An hour after that, she came up to me and asked when I had bought them, and I told her it was on Black Friday. She asked, "So you had them the whole time? And you let me go to that function without them?" She started sounding upset, so I asked her if she was. Of course I'm upset. Why didn't you give them to me when I wanted them? You could have given them to me when I needed them, you didn't have to wait till Christmas. She's been murmuring things to that effect well into the next day, and I'm starting to think she was right, but other family members think she's overreacting. So, comment 1. NTA, you are 17 with no job, but you pulled together the money to get your mom the present she wanted, then she has the audacity to complain that you waited till Christmas to give a really thoughtful gift. Many teenagers don't go through the trouble of getting their parents thoughtful gifts like that, and she should be grateful that you went through the trouble of getting her something she wanted. I am sure there will be other functions where she can wear the earrings. Comment 2. NTA. It was a Christmas gift, not a going to a function gift. If you'd given them to her, methinks she'd have been disappointed on Christmas. I think you did just fine. I only wish she'd been more grateful about the gift. You deserved better. Comment 3. I don't think you're an asshole for that, I think she's being ridiculous. Sure, it would have been convenient if you'd given them to her for this event before Christmas, but then you would have had nothing to give her on the day. I think she's being rude.